Okay, first I'd like to thank everyone for coming out this evening. The theme's hot mess, and everyone has choices today. And one of the choices you had for tonight was to stay home and watch the hot mess of Donald Trump's Phoenix, Arizona rally with white supremacists, Trumpers, Sheriff Joe Arpaio, but you made the right choice. This is the place to be for hot messes. So, anyway, what I'd like to share with you tonight, I'd love to tell you a heart-wrenching story of my 26-year-old coming of age, filled with ups and downs and trials and tribulations, and that's what I'd love to tell you about tonight. But what I'm actually going to tell you about is the same son shitting in public at 4 years old. So, it's very similar. This took place probably like 22 years ago. My wife at the time and I decided, okay, we're going to do a one-stop shopping trip. This was before Easter, and so we decided to take a trip over to the York Galleria Mall. So we can do clothing shopping, we can go to the toy store. We had a wedding present to buy for some friends, so off we go, myself, my wife at the time, and my 4-year-old son. So we get there, and of course, the 4-year-old son has priority, so we dash into KB Toys, and he's beside himself, and he's just having the greatest time, shelves and shelves of toys. And he was 4, and at the time we thought he was potty trained. At the time we thought he was potty trained. And he proceeded to pee. And of course he could care less. He's still having a blast at KB Toys. And so we shop, we check out, we get out to the mall, and my wife says, could you take Greg up to the restroom and change him? I go, sure. So I take him up to the men's restroom, we go in the handicap stall where we have some extra room, and I proceed to take off his shoes and proceed to take off his urine-soaked socks, and I proceed to take off his urine-soaked underwear and his pants, because he had no diaper, we thought he was potty trained. I pull out the baby bag, and because we thought he was potty trained, there's a container of wet wipes and this pair of Garanimals baggy shorts, and that is it in the bag. So I said, okay, it's spring, the weather's not bad, he'll be okay. So I slip on the baggy shorts, put his shoes back on, we head out, and we go meet Mom, Dad, and Junior going commando out there in the public. And being the nice guy that I am, I tell my wife, hey, I'll tell you what, you go shop by yourself so you don't have a kid nipping at your ankle the whole time. I'll take Greg, we'll go down and shop, I'll meet you in a half hour, center of the mall. I said, okay, great, she's ecstatic, she takes off. We go down, and we go down to the kitchen store, and I go to buy a wedding present for some friends, and instead of buying one big gift for them, I decided, okay, I'm gonna buy a bunch of small things, pot holders and whisks and zesters, and so we start heading down the little aisle with the little stuff, and it's almost as good as a KB Toys. Here's this kid with bright, shiny colored objects in the kitchen store, and he's helping me. It's so cute. He's helping me pick out little things, and so I have this huge handful of like 6, 8 kitchen things, and we go up to check out, and I'm surprised it's the weekend, but they only have one cashier up there. There's 6, 8 people in line, and we're at the back of the line. No one's behind us. I'm standing there with this big pile of gadgets and gizmos, and we're standing there, and we move up 1 or 2 people, and then we're standing there, and all of a sudden I go, and I go, and then I turn, and I look down, and I look down at a hot mess. I look down, and between the legs of this 4-year-old, going commando with baggy shorts, was the largest pile of human shit I've ever seen in my life. Coming from a 4-year-old. It looked like someone brought their Great Dane in, he relieved himself, and then went on his merry way. And so, surprisingly, I'm standing there, and I'm surprised, I'm standing there, and these people ahead of me, no one's looking behind. No one's picking up what's back there on the floor carpet sitting there. And so I calmly take my handful of kitchen gadgets, and I look around, and I find a horizontal surface close by, and I set all those objects on the top of this container, and I grabbed my kid's hand and I said, Greg, let's go. So I proceed to walk very briskly out of this kitchen store, up the mall, and by then, about 75 yards up, I see my wife at the time coming towards us, and she just looks so peaceful. She's got 2 bags. She's got a Boscov's and a Bon-Ton bag, and she just looks very content. And she's walking towards us, and we get up to her, and she goes, so, what'd you find? How'd it go? And then she reads my face, and she goes, what's wrong? And I go, you would not believe what happened. And she goes, what? And I said, we were down the store, and standing there, and Andrew just shit on the carpet. And she looks at me, and she looks at me perplexed, and she goes, so what did you do? And I go, what did I do? I left. So she very calmly went down to the store and went up to the cashier, and by then the line had moved a few feet over. And she went up and apologized and explained to the cashier, and the cashier said, don't worry, honey, I have kids, I understand. She told her where the cleaning room was, she gave her paper towels and disinfectant and a small scrub brush, and that wonderful woman cleaned up that mess, and that's how great women are. Myself, I never went back in that kitchen store the rest of my life. Thanks.